Daenerys Targaryen. I mean, what a name in Game of Thrones, right?
Oh, absolutely. A central figure, definitely.
Her journey across all 8 seasons,
Mm-hmm.
it's just this incredible arc.
Yeah.
From a scared kid in exile to the mother of dragons, and then, well, things get complicated.
Extremely complicated. And her story really captures so much of what the show is about, doesn't it? You know, power, what it does to people, legacy, leadership. It's all in there.
Yeah, exactly. And I think to really get a handle on, the ending and the controversy, you have to go back. You have to see how she got there step by step.
Couldn't agree more.
So that's what we're doing today in this deep dive. We've looked at articles, Reddit threads, different analyses,
Yeah.
basically trying to map out her journey chronologically.
Right. Pinpointing those key moments, the places she went, the people she connected with or fought against.
To how she changed. That
Yeah.
evolution is key. So, okay, where does it all begin? Season 1.
Season 1, yeah. We find her across the narrow sea in exile with her brother, Viserys. And she's pretty much just a pawn for him at first.
Totally under his control. He's desperate to get back the Iron Throne, so he marries her off to Khal Drogo.
And she's understandably timid, scared even. But that marriage, as awful as the circumstances are, it sort of forces her to grow up fast.
Yeah, that's a point a lot of analyses make. She's thrown into this completely different Dothraki culture, and somehow she finds strength there. Starts to push back against Viserys a bit.
Exactly. She finds her voice, learns how to command a different kind of respect. It's not about birthright there initially. It's about fitting in, surviving.
And then comes Khal Drogo's death.
Yeah.
A huge turning point.
Massive. Both tragic for her personally, but also transformative.
Especially with what happens next. The funeral pyre scene.
Ah, yes. The fire. That's where everything changes. She walks into the flames.
And walks out unharmed.
Yeah.
With 3 baby dragons. It's this incredible reveal of her fire immunity, but also like a symbolic rebirth.
Fire and blood, right. The Targaryen words, it literally forges her into something new.
Okay, so that sets up season 2. She has dragons now. Where does she go?
Season 2 is a bit more transitional, maybe. Less huge plot shifts for her compared to season 1's ending. She's moving towards Korth.
Looking for allies, ships, money. Basically resources to eventually get to Westeros.
Right. But Korth, it looks welcoming, but it's full of its own dangers. Deception.
Yeah, she gets trapped in the House of the Undying. That whole sequence is pretty intense.
Very. And her escape isn't exactly quiet. She ends up taking what she needs quite forcefully, pillaging the city, essentially.
It's kind of an early sign, isn't it, that she'll do what she thinks is necessary, even if it's brutal. Born from betrayal, perhaps?
Perhaps. It sets a precedent. Which leads us nicely into season 3, where things really ramp up in terms of her power.
Astapor, the Unsullied. This is a big one.
Huge. She needs an army, and she sees one in the Unsullied.
Tyrion.
Yeah, letting the slave master Krasny's just insult her freely.
And then she offers Drogon a dragon for the entire army. Everyone's shocked.
But then comes the twist. Draeris.
Boom. Turns the tables completely. Kills Krasny's, takes the army.
But crucially, she doesn't just take them. She offers them freedom, their choice to fight for her.
And that secures their loyalty in a way just buying them never could have. Brilliant, ruthless, and maybe even inspiring to them.
Definitely. And it's her first real experience trying to rule, too. She sets up a council in Astapor, learning the ropes the hard way.
Which brings us to season 4 and Meereen. This felt like a big shift in strategy.
Yeah, deciding to stay in Meereen, to rule it, rather than just liberating and leaving, that's a major moment, especially in the show's version of her story.
Why do you think she made that choice?
Well, I think she saw it as necessary. She needed to prove, maybe to herself as much as anyone, that she could govern, not just conquer, build something lasting.
But Meereen is complicated. A former slave city, deep resentments on all sides.
Exactly. The political challenges are immense. She's trying to impose a new order, and there's pushback. Lots of it.
We see her trying political solutions, like marrying Hizdar Zolorak.
An attempt to bridge the gap, bring peace, but it's fraught. And then there's the dragon problem.
Yeah. When Drogon kills a child, she has to lock up Rhaegal and Viserion. That must have been agonizing.
A terrible choice. Showing that even her greatest weapons, her children, really, are dangerous and hard to control. A metaphor for power itself, maybe.
Which flows right into season 5 and the Sons of the Harpy. The resistance explodes.
It really does. Meereen becomes incredibly unstable. She's trying to maintain peace, but it's slipping away. The attacks get bolder.
It really highlights how difficult it is to dismantle an old system and build something new. The violence escalates.
Culminating in that attack in the fighting pits, Daznak's pit, she's cornered, about to be killed.
And then Drogon returns, just flies in, saves her. An absolutely iconic moment.
Totally. Reinforces their connection, her power, but also the chaos surrounding her. She flies off on his back, leaving Meereen behind, temporarily at least.
So, season 6, she's flown off, captured by Dothraki. It feels like a step back, almost.
It seems like it initially, captured by Khal Drogo's Khalasar. But Daenerys, she turns it around again.
In spectacular fashion. Back to fire.
Right. In Vaes Dothrak, she confronts the Khals, burns down the temple, and walks out of the flames, again unharmed.
Just like season 1, but on a grander scale.
Yeah.
This time, she doesn't just gain respect, she unites the entire Dothraki people under her. They see her as something more than human.
A goddess, almost. It gives her this immense Dothraki horde to add to her, unsullied.
So she returns to Meereen, which is under attack by the slavers again.
But this time she has the Dothraki, and her dragons are back in play. She crushes the rebellion decisively. No more compromise.
Her power is consolidated now in Essos, and her eyes are firmly set on Westeros.
And she gets reinforcements. Yara and Theon Greyjoy arrive, offering their fleet.
A crucial piece she was missing.
And perhaps the most important addition, Tyrion Lannister. She names him Hand of the Queen.
That's a huge moment, bringing his political mind, his knowledge of Westeros, to her cause.
Exactly. It feels like all the pieces are finally in place, and they set sail. End of season 6.
7. Arrival. Dragonstone.
Yes. Her ancestral home, landing there, is heavy with symbolism.
But Westeros isn't welcoming her with open arms. It's a whole new set of political challenges.
Definitely. And a new player, sort of. Melisandre shows up, urging her to meet Jon Snow.
Because of the threat from the north. The White Walkers.
Right. This becomes the major tension point. Daenerys wants the throne. Jon needs help against the dead. Their initial meetings are frosty.
Understandably. 2 monarchs, competing claims, immense stakes. But they eventually form an alliance.
Out of necessity, mostly. But there's clearly chemistry there, too.
Which makes the big loss of this season even more painful.
Viserion, killed by the Night King, then reanimated as an ice dragon. Just devastating for her, and a terrifying weapon for the enemy.
Yeah, a massive blow. And we also see her, well, her ruthlessness again. The Tarlys.
Refusing to bend the knee, she burns them alive. It's a stark reminder of her Targaryen nature, perhaps. Fire and blood. It alienated some, including Tyrion and Varys.
It sets a worrying precedent leading into the final season.
Season 8, oh boy.
Yeah. The Long Night is fought and won, but the focus shifts back south, to King's Landing, to Cersei.
And this is where everything unravels for Daenerys, in the eyes of many. The battle for King's Landing.
The bells ring, signaling the city's surrender.
But she doesn't stop. She unleashes Drogon, burns the city, soldiers and civilians alike, just total destruction.
The bells. It's probably the most debated episode of the entire series. Why did she do it?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? Was it grief? Paranoia after losing so many allies, Missandei, Rhaegal? Was it the Targaryen madness? A calculated act of terror to ensure future loyalty.
People argue all sides. We saw analyses pointing to trauma, narcissistic traits, the pressure of her perceived destiny. It's incredibly divisive. The Mad Queen label sticks hard after this.
It does, and it leads directly to the final tragedy. Jon Snow.
He confronts her in the throne room. Sees she won't stop. That she believes her vision justifies any atrocity.
And he kills her. The woman he loves, his queen. An absolutely gut-wrenching decision.
And Drogon's reaction. Not killing Jon, but melting the Iron Throne itself. That symbol she fought so hard for.
Powerful imagery, as if the throne itself was the corrupting force. And the ultimate outcome, Bran Stark becomes king.
So, looking back, Daenerys Targaryen, it's just this epic, sweeping, ultimately tragic story.
From that scared girl in season 1 to this all-powerful, feared figure, the transformation is staggering.
Really makes you think, doesn't it? About power, how it's used, how it changes people. Was her fate sealed from the start? By her name, her history, her experiences?
Or were there turning points, choices she made, where things could have gone differently? Could she have ruled differently, listened more, maybe?
What does her story tell us, about leadership? About destiny versus free will? There's just so much there.
Absolutely. And the debates aren't stopping anytime soon, especially with more Targaryen history being explored. Her story will be analyzed and argued over for a long, long time.